Hi there, this is Paige, who is Stamp Girl here on YouTube, and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm sharing with you some ideas from the April 2020 paper pumpkin kit from Stampin' Up. This one is called My Wonderful Family. Now I'm doing this with Deb, who is Deb Hauk's Crafty Cottage. When it works out, we like to take the current kit and make alternative cards to share with each other and with all of you who stop by to watch our videos. And so this month it worked out with the post office and the kits arriving in time and having time to make some cards to share with each other. Now, my kit is mostly torn apart, so I'm not going to show you what I have left because it's just little bits and pieces here and there. But if you're not familiar with Paper Pumpkin, or you're not familiar with this particular kit, on Deb's channel she does have an unboxing for this kit, and then she shows how to make these two cards as intended. But for this video and Deb's new video, we're making alternative cards. So let's get started. When I saw this tree, I immediately thought of fall, because I love fall. I love fall trees. And so I made this card. Now I pulled out some components from an older Stampin' Up! Paper Pumpkin kit called The Gift of Fall. It was from August 2019, and that's where these pieces right here came from. This piece was a little note card that I cut apart, and it was an add-on to that particular Paper Pumpkin kit. So I took the front of that note card and just popped it up with craft foam. I adhered the tree, but first putting these vellum pieces behind the branches to look like fall-colored leaves. And then the second half of the note card was the solid craft color, so I added that as a mat. And then this was an envelope that went with these note cards, and I just cut it apart and used the decorative part as a mat on the inside. This card, both of these cards are fun folds. This card is a Z fold card, and I did some cutting off of some parts. I cut off one of the folded edges of that card, and I took that edge and I punched it with a Martha Stewart border punch. And then I added some Mint Macron cardstock, and then I cut the decorative flap off an envelope and cut it to fit in this section. Then I needed something between the pattern paper and the cardstock, so I added these borderline stickers, little zigzag. It kind of mimicked the border punch. Added some pearls. These were from the kit. And then I made a tag from Mint Macron. I used a little scrap that was left over from this strip of the envelope and put it down at the bottom. And then I ran it through my Big Shot with this Cuttlebug Leafy Branch embossing folder. This ribbon is from the kit, so I put that at the top, and then I added some white seam binding. And then on the back I just cut a piece of white cardstock to write a message on. But then I also added a white piece to the back side in case you wanted to stamp more or write a longer message. For this next card, I used this card base, but I turned it landscape. And this is a separate flap that opens up, and this is a flap that opens up. I actually cut them apart into two separate pieces and put them together and put ribbon down the seam, added them to some Pear Pizzazz cardstock and a white card base. This is a pre-printed design on the card. And then this leaf is, one of the pieces from the card kit. I glued the branch part down, but I put dimensionals under the tips of the leaves so they'd pop up a little bit. Then I had some sequins on my desk that brought out the gold from the ribbon, so I used those, and then added pearls from the kit in the centers of the sequins. And then the inside is just Pear Pizzazz and white cardstock. For my next card, I took this Z-fold card base, and I turned it into a gift card holder. So instead of opening up like a Z-fold, you'll see what happens. So I wanted to find something in my paper stash that went well with the pre-printed card, and I came across this cardstock from Stampin' Up. It's an older collection. I don't have it sitting nearby me anymore. I don't remember what it was called. But I covered up this white panel with some mint macaron cardstock, and then I added this piece for the front, and I found some ribbon that the colors went nicely with, so I wrapped that around. Now when you open up this card, instead of a Z-fold, that extra flap I folded over this way and adhered the sides to form a pocket. Used a circle punch to make a little thumb hole, and then a gift card will go in there. And then this was pre-printed of the card base. And then this piece right here and this piece right here are the flaps of two of the envelopes. I thought this side needed a little more color because it was just plain white, and the pattern on the back of this piece of cardstock that showed didn't really match with what I was going for. So there is that card. My next card, I used this Fun Fold card base. It's kind of like a matchbox where the top opens up and the bottom folds down. But I turned it around this way and I put it onto a shaded spruce card base. This is 5.5 by 4.25. I trimmed this down slightly to leave a border on the cardstock base. Then I wrapped some crushed curry seam binding around the top edge of the larger piece that just folds up, so the sides are not glued down, they're still open. And then I stamped Hello Friend. That was just some other sentiments that I used. And then these butterflies were from the kit, and so is this little butterfly stamp. And like I said, the flowers were pre-printed on the card base. The pearls were from the kit, and so I just added those to some of the flowers. So my card opens up like this. I took a piece of cardstock and I scored it at the top and glued it under to the top flap. And then it just slides inside of here. And it slides a lot easier if you leave these sides open and not glued down. So then I stamped You've Been on My Mind from another stamp set, some more of the butterflies, and just a little fun fold card with a surprise pop-up. And then on the back side I just added a white panel to write a message on it and another one of the butterflies. And then for my last card that I'm going to share with you, I used this card base again, and I made a gift card holder. Nope, that was the previous card. Never mind. I used this card base and made this card. So what I did is I glued it onto a white piece of cardstock just to make it a little bit sturdier, and also so I could wrap a long piece of ribbon around the entire card, so it's attached between these two layers and between these layers up here. So here's the tree from the card kit and the pre-printed card base. The birds are popped up with dimensionals from the card kit. I used a grass die from my stash and one of the envelope flaps to make the grass. Excuse me, the green leafy leaves are a stamp from the kit, as are the butterflies. And then the background of clouds, I used this stencil right here that I printed offline. So you untie the ribbon, and then the card will open up like a Z-fold, but I continued the clouds and the grass and the birds across the next two panels. And then I cut another strip and scored it in half and in half again on each side, and just adhered these two sections down so that when you open up the card it pops up. And then I just added some of the butterflies from the kit to those little panels. And then on the back of the card is a nice size white space to write an additional message. So those are my cards for this month. I hope you like them and got some ideas if you like to do alternative cards. Otherwise, the cards from the kit are perfectly fine just the way they are. I'd like to thank you for joining me. Please check out Deb's channel so that you can see her unboxing video and also her alternative card video. And now I'm off to create.